Hollywood actors have joined screenwriters in the first dual strike by the two unions in more than 6 decades. Industry workers are calling for better pay and for protections for their work in the face of artificial intelligence. Unions called the strike after a month of negotiations failed to reach a deal on new contracts. Actors Union head Fran Drescher saying that she hopes the Hollywood strike will also draw attention to other labor movements across the U.S.
Curtains have closed in Hollywood. For the first time in over 60 years, actors and writers have joined forces to demand better contracts. Production on major films, shows and series has ground to a halt.
Where we're just really finally all coming together and realizing that we need to have solidarity not only amongst ourselves, amongst our own union, but also with the other unions in our business, and then also solidarity with all the other labor movements that are happening across the country.
They want their fair share of streaming profits and are calling for regulations on artificial intelligence.
So we're in an old contract for a new type of business, and it's just not working.
The head of Disney hit back at the threat of industrial action, calling union expectations unrealistic. But the Actors Union president, Fran Drescher, star of the 90s sitcom The Nanny, emphasised the importance of reaching a new deal for the striking workers.
All across the nation and around the world, the eyes of workers are upon us. What is decided in this strike and this negotiation is going to impact everybody. And if we don't take control of this situation from these greedy megalomaniacs, we are all going to be in threat of losing our livelihoods.
Under the union's strike rules, actors are prohibited from performing in films, as well as promoting them. That's already had an impact on one of the biggest premieres of the year, the atomic history drama Oppenheimer. Its London debut was moved up so stars like Robert Downey Jr. and Cillian Murphy could appear before the strike began.
Well, yeah, we wanted to come out and talk about it because we're really proud of it and we worked really hard on it, and we wanted to, everything was all set up, so we said, well, let's just do it, and then if they call a strike, we'll go home.
And that's exactly what they did after the action was confirmed. With the strike now underway, the red carpet is set to be far less busy until a deal is reached.
All right, let's pull in KJ Matthews now. She's an entertainment journalist. She's following the story closely in Los Angeles. KJ, good to see you. So we've got the first industry-wide shutdown in 60 years happening right now. The world is wondering, what in the world is Hollywood going to do?
It depends on who you're asking. It's funny you should mention that, Brent. I actually spoke to a source of mine this morning, and I thought, I wonder if the studios and the networks got the message from Fran Drescher yesterday when she was up there saying, they're being greedy. This is what we're asking for. She was speaking on behalf of SAG-AFTRA, the Actors Union. And, my source told me that actually some of the people that they've spoken with her said that they're willing to let this strike go on. And they're not any closer to even attempting to ask for a meeting with the Writers Guild nor the Screen Actors Guild at all. So it's actually quite scary to think that, so many of these people, their livelihoods depend on being paid, and to think that this might go on for 3 or 6 or even more months is quite frightening for many people here in Hollywood.
Yeah, you have people's livelihoods at stake right now, and also major movie productions that are in the pipeline. They are going to be impacted by this. How are viewers, how are they going to feel the effects? Customers who have subscribed to streaming services, for example, or moviegoers, when are they going to notice something?
Well, the biggest thing is the films that are in production now, Avatar 3, Avatar 4, Wonder Woman 3, Gladiator, films like that, you will see them shut down immediately. And what that means is when it does release, the release date will be pushed back. That's the bottom line. So if you were having a film that maybe was going to come out sometime in the summer of next year, 2024, it might take a year now. So it might be pushed back to 2025. That's the first thing. I think when it comes to other things like film festivals, fan events, movie premieres, press junkets, that goes away. So you might still see events being had, but you won't see celebrities. So I think it'll be interesting to see something like the Venice Film Festival, which happens next month in August, or the Toronto Film Festival, which happens in September, with no red carpet, with no stars there to promote their upcoming films. So that'll be interesting. Or, just basic movie premieres. I've had a couple of studios contact me and say that the premieres that I was invited to, that I was going to attend next week and the week after, are canceled. The only one that I know that is still ongoing at this point is the one I was supposed to go to this weekend, called Haunted Mansion by Disney. They've turned theirs into a fan event. So it's not a premiere. It's just an opportunity for you to go and screen the film with no stars or celebrities and no red carpet. So that's kind of the immediate effect.
We know that the unions are calling for better pay, better working conditions, but what makes this a very 21st century labor event is that they're also asking for regulation of artificial intelligence. Talk to me briefly about why actors and writers in Hollywood, why are they so concerned about AI?
Well, let's start with the writers. Writers get paid based on the credits they get. If their name is associated with a certain show, written by, revised by, all of that determines what they get paid and how often they get paid. If they are replaced in any way by artificial intelligence, that means that they get less pay. What they want is to have some sort of limitation to make sure they're not completely replaced when it comes to revising screenplays or revising television scripts, that they're still on the card, that they still have credit, and that they're still being used. Otherwise, it could cut into like half of what they're making. When it comes to actors, the greatest part, I think I heard a background actor say this morning on television, is that oftentimes they come in and they have no lines or very few lines if they're a background actor, and they get paid for that day rate. And if they need to do any retakes, they usually call them back. With the introduction of AI, they don't need to do that. They can have you come on day one, pay you a flat rate, and then say, if we want to do revisions or we need to change anything, we'll just take your likeness and we'll use it in perpetuity. And that's hard for them to hear, obviously cutting into their pay. Right now, there are no restrictions or policies about how AI can be used, how often it can be used, and why it can be used. And the writers and the actors want some sort of regulations around that.
Yeah, and regulating AI, it's an issue all over the world, and it's an issue that has not been resolved anywhere. So they could be talking for a long time, it looks like. Entertainment journalist KJ Matthews with the latest from Los Angeles. As always, KJ, thank you.
Thank you.